Regional Contact is coming up now on CTV.
Well, hello there. It's great to see you again.
Thank you for joining us this evening.
But I'm in the mood for a little music.
Always in the mood for music.
I think it'll warm us up, and I have just the man for the job. Not only does he make beautiful music, he makes gorgeous violins. It is, by his own admission, a tiny workshop in Gatineau, Quebec. But don't be fooled. It houses Dennis Alexander's enormous passion.
There's no feeling quite like it. It's just absolutely thrilling.
Thrilling to build them, thrilling to play them. In his intimate creative corner, Dennis romances select pieces of pine and maple. Together, they make the most beautiful music. His is a love affair, with strings attached.
I'm from the Pontiac, north of Queel. I grew up in a farm there with my family. My father was musical, played the fiddle, piano. He taught me the basics of the fiddle. My sister played the piano, and we had a little family band. We would play for square dances and whatnot. That's how I got started. When I started playing the fiddle, learning tunes, I'll never forget, there was this radio program called Fiddler's Fling, and I used to listen to that on a Saturday night at, I think it was 5:30 in the evening, and so that would be my resource for learning new tunes. So we only had one chance to learn a tune.
He learned to play and yearned to build. Again, his father took the lead. Dennis happily followed.
Again, it goes back to my father. He was at an auction sale one time, and he bought a box full of old tools. Some luthier had passed away, and it was at an auction sale, and my dad bought this box of homemade tools and violin parts. And I got it together, and I played it for a while, but it wasn't a very good one. I think it's in the dump in Aylmer here someplace, but but the satisfaction of assembling that and playing it and listening to it come to life was wonderful.
And that was the spark.
That was the spark, I'm sure it was, yes.
The spark ignited a fire that's been roaring for a lifetime. Dennis has been repairing and building violins since the early 80s. Fashioning instruments for influential musicians in Canada, the US, and other musical havens around the world.
I had been building furniture here as a hobby for a number of years, and so once I built my first one, it was game over. I couldn't stop. I still can't stop. So
How many have you built now?
I've built 60 violins. Last year was 25 years, so it'll be 26 years building violins.
This is his first one. And this is his 60th. For years, Dennis worked in the printing business. When he was promoted to plant manager, he lost the chance to work with his hands, and he missed it. He filled that creative void at his bench.
I got lost in there. I would go into my shop and work away, forgetting about everything except working with my hands and creating things.
And creating something that looked and sounded beautiful.
Well, luckily enough, quite a few of them turned out okay.
better than okay, actually. Dennis is as humble as he is talented. He's a member of the Violin Society of America and the Violin Makers Association of Arizona. At conferences and competitions there, he's won countless awards for tone and craftsmanship. One even took the coveted Grand Master's Prize as Best Overall Instrument in a field of 58.
And what is the grand prize? What do you get for that?
Just a stupid big trophy. It's hanging on the wall in there. Yeah.
Dennis will spend about 300 hours building each instrument. He typically follows the patterns of the Italian masters, but will also customize instruments by request. His work is always in demand, musicians patiently waiting 6 months to a year for an Alexander fiddle.
I built 4 violins last year, and that was a really busy year for me. So it's full time between that and in the summertime I go around to the violin contests, fiddle contests, and I watch my babies being played.
And that truly is music to his ears. For Dennis, there's nothing like a violin coming to life in the hands of a master. 15 years ago, a young Rob Dagenet first took one of Dennis's fiddles to Ireland and lit up more than a few pubs with some Ottawa Valley musical fire. For Dennis, the reward of building is helping others make music. Their hands give voice to his lyrical spirit.
That is the biggest reward of all. I can remember one time working in my shop when they used to broadcast the Shelburne competition. The people that won the 12 and under, the 18 and under, and the open contest were all playing my violins, so that was quite a thrill for me as well.
And you heard that come over the airwaves?
Yes, yeah. Of course, it wasn't mentioned who the violin maker was, but I knew.
Of course, playing still brings as much pleasure as making. Where there's a fiddle, there's a guitar, and in no time, an impromptu jam session.
Does playing take you away the same way that building them does?
Of course, yeah. Playing is really what it's all about at the end of the day. Is playing my fiddle, you know. All these other nice things that happened to me along the way, like violin making and meeting all the friends at violin competitions and customers that come by. All of this is made possible by everybody loving to play the violin.
He's also helped produce a CD entitled Dennis the Fiddlemaker. It features 10 gifted musicians, all owners of the violins of Dennis Alexander.
I produced this CD called Dennis the Fiddlemaker in 2004. I plan to do another one because the last violin that was bought from me on this CD was in 1996, so I've got a whole raft of good young players, so we'll have fun doing that.
Dennis also houses a collection of other fine violins, some of them his own creations. They are a gift from a friend who knew Dennis would give them the respect they deserve.
Most of these violins came from a customer of mine that I had built several violins for over the years, but he got ill and he asked me if I would consider being in his will, and eventually I agreed to, and he bequeathed his collection of 50 violins to me, and that's how many violins will fit in a Grand Prix car. I had the car filled with 50 violins, so
And you weren't able to keep them all, were you?
No, I donated a number of them to a music school in Buckingham, and I've sold several of them, but I've got about 25 of them left here.
And did he ever tell you why it was important for him that you have them?
He didn't want them to be just dispersed, and he loved his collection. He loved showing off his instruments to visitors, and he told me that he knew that if I had them, I would make sure they got a good home. So I'm trying to do that.
A custodian of fiddles from the past, a proud builder of instruments for the future. For Dennis Alexander, crafting and playing is just a celebration of life. As much fun as an Ottawa Valley kitchen party that you wish would never end.
So 60 under your belt, another 60 to come perhaps?
Well, when I built my 50th one, I put a note inside it. I said 50 down and 50 more to go, so...
So you're good for at least 40 more?
Yeah, 40 more, yeah.
Well, Dennis certainly is an accomplished craftsman, and you can see why his instruments are in such demand.
You sure can. He puts his heart and soul into every instrument he builds. Dennis, thanks for sharing your music and your music making with us.